All right, we're live. What's up, Natalie?
Right. Hello.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, this is Richie Contartesi with the Next Play podcast, and I know we had a little bit of a delay here, but I appreciate all of you being here. We have a very special guest today, someone who's been an agency owner for 9 years and has built it up. She's done a lot of really cool things, and I'm really excited to have her on today. So, Natalie, again, thanks so much for being on.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it. I can't believe
Yeah. It's been what?
I can't believe it's been 9 years already. It does not feel like it.
I know. And like one of the things that I notice about you, and I think a lot of people here listening can really like dive into, is like if you Google your name, you have a lot of reviews and they're all good. Like they're all like every platform is like 5-star reviews. So your brand is really good. And they're not like, there's like hundreds. So obviously you've been doing this for a while. You've had a lot of success. You've broadened to, to other areas, to financial services, mortgages, business loans, retirement planning. So I'm excited to have you on. I'm excited to learn how you've built your business and what's working for you today. So let's just jump right into that, Natalie. Like, let's talk. How did you get into the business? And let's go from there.
Yeah. Actually, I was doing events for Hilton at the time, and I started interviewing for sales positions and ended up in insurance. It was a big jump, but I'm a third generation insurance agent that way. My parents were insurance agents. My grandmother was. So when I started interviewing with them, I remember calling my mom and laughing about it because I was like, you're not going to believe who and what they're getting to do, because I was looking forward to, doing events for a long time. The burnout was very real. So I knew at least I had that business acumen to be able to run my own business, work the long hours that it takes, which it does, and then translate what I learned there into what I'm doing now.
Nice. So let's start with that. How have you been able to, first of all, for someone who gets to, luckily get to speak at a lot of different events, and I've been doing it for almost 10 years. I watch event planners and what they have to go through, and it is crazy. So how are you able to use what you learned from events and transition it into insurance and sales and building your agency?
So we use it mostly for acquisition. I know a lot of agents, they buy leads or they buy lists. They work referrals really hard, or they just go out and hunt. And what I've been able to do a little in a way is be able to have events in the community, and we're able to meet people that way face to face, ask them if they want to get a quote, ask them who they've got all of their financial services with, and then we can give them a call the following week, set up appointments there face to face. It's so much easier than on the phone calling.
I love this. So they call this speaking to sell, but there's nothing like being in front of people face to face and getting a chance for them to see you, to meet you, versus booked call to a meeting, to a sale. It's you get to speak to multiple people at one time and they get to meet you. They get to see your authenticity. So how do you because this is it. So I think this is like where this podcast should stay, is how do you acquire new clients and how do you do it through speaking? How can you first get in front of people, and then how are you able to convert them, and then how have you been able to help others or build your agency around this model? Because like you said, most people are buying leads or they're running Facebook ads to some sort of funnel or campaign. Let's start with the speaking. So how do you go about getting events in the community and getting people to come to those events?
That's where the hunting starts. I will look at events that are happening around town. We live in Houston. We're right in the middle of it, so there's no shortage of getting in front of people.
Yeah.
We call our complex little events for them, anything from dropping off breakfast or meeting them on days that everybody and has a resident meeting of some sort, or we will just do pool parties during the summer and we show up with a cooler of drinks and we've got hot dogs, hamburgers, and then we just have a good time. We'll partner with other people to bring out some other forms of entertainment like a DJ or something like that. And then we'll also reach out to schools, we'll reach out to churches, see what they're doing, what they have coming up. And if we can't partner with an organization that already has an event going on, then I worked with them to help them create an event for their organization. And then we just put something together for the community that they can enjoy, and it's mutually beneficial to us. So we're getting in front of people, we're meeting them. Like you said, that face-to-face really is not something that you think of in insurance at all. Insurance to most people is just an annoyance, right? So it's kind of like, who wants to save money on their insurance? Everybody. But who thinks that they pay too much for their insurance? Everybody. So them, and we can, hey, let us take a look at it. Maybe we can save you money. Maybe we can get you better coverage. And that just opens up the door for us to get into that household, and then we grow from there with that. And that's kind of where getting into the services has come around, so that we can serve our customers even better.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, by the way, do you have headphones by chance? Your audio is sometimes cuts in and out. And I know so just for everyone watching, we had a little bit of a technical difficulties here, but we solved that issue. But your audio is good, but it just kind of cuts in. Do you have headphones by chance or no?
The only headphones I have are in the microphone that we were going to use, and they won't.
I see.
iPhone.
I see. Okay, I got it. Okay. What if you put your iPhone sideways?
Yeah.
Because then I think what will happen is the microphone will go. Yeah. Okay, let's see how that works. Okay, cool. Okay.
Is that any better at all?
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Because this is like literally, this is such a good. This topic is so important of like, how do you get in front of your clients different than everybody else? And then how do you actually do it? How do you speak? Like, and then how do you turn those into clients? And I think this process is something that so many people out there need to hear and can seriously learn. And I'm really excited about this. So, okay, so you reach out to schools, you reach out to businesses, you reach out to people who already have events. So if I'm just like, hey, I want to speak to acquire new customers, I know that instead of doing one-on-one consultations, I can speak to many and then do one-on-one consults after that if need be. So if I'm just getting started, what's the best route for me? Is it to reach out to schools? Is it to go to meetup.com and find events, or BMI? Or the Lions Club, or all these clubs that have monthly meetings? Like, what do you think is the best first approach?
I think the best first approach is any organizations you're already familiar with that can help you. So if you're already attending a church, or your kids go to school somewhere, they play in sports, you're part of an organization, nonprofit that you already volunteer for or help out, that's where it's easiest to start. One, you already know kind of how those organizations or those businesses would work and what their calendars kind of look like, so you can align that with your calendar.
Yeah.
Owner out there, you look at your calendar and you're like, I don't have time for this at all.
Right.
So having somebody here or something, an organization, is a way to start.
Okay. So if you're listening right now and you have like a friend that's part of the school district, or you have a friend that's part of a business, or you are a part of a church, or, any type of community that has gatherings, basically.
Yeah. Gathering that will let you show up with a table and talk to people.
Yeah. I know BMI is a big one, Business Meeting International, right? Have you ever heard of that one? Have you used that one?
I have, and I've joined that. I've had a few through there. They usually don't have major public type of events with ours.
Right.
You're going to the event, you're talking in front of a lot of other people who are also looking for leads, and you're exchanging leads versus
Right.
going out into churches, clubs, businesses, and even like conventions that you may have in your town. Those are going to get you in front of usually hundreds to maybe even thousands of people.
Yeah, even like like WeWork and like these community offices, like they hold big events and you'll have like a lot of people there. So like our office space here in Vegas, there's other businesses and they'll have like a big community event. And
Mhm.
if you could connect with the person that runs this, you're going to be in front of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay. So I love that you use speaking. So, okay. So there's a lot of different routes to go. Now, how do you reach out? Are you just emailing, calling? How are you getting these events and how many are you typically doing? Uh-oh, did you freeze? Oh no. Oh, this is such a good conversation. I think we're frozen here. Sorry for everyone hanging out. If you want to shoot me a comment, just let me know you're here. But I think Natalie's frozen. I think we lost her. What's up, everybody? It's just me. Listen, if you're watching right now, because I can see a couple people watching, listen, shoot me a comment. Let me know that you're here. I know we're live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, multiple different groups. Natalie's going to be back here in a minute, but this topic is so powerful for if you are in insurance, mortgage, if you are in commission sales and you have to buy leads. This is, as a speaker, this is by far the best and easiest way to grow your business. It's to speak to many. So first, we got to learn how to get the events. Second, we got to learn how to deliver, how to pitch, how to speak and sell. And then from there, how to book appointments. And then on those appointments, of course, how to convert. But I'm so excited that she's here. I'm also not excited that she's not here because we are frozen. Let me see if I can get her back in. But anybody have any questions on this? Because it's such a good topic. Shoot me a comment. I see I have a comment from Facebook, but it says Facebook user. And unfortunately, you have to under this video, there's a thing from StreamYard and you have to register in order for me to see the name. But okay, I think Natalie's back. Hold on, let me see. You're back.
I don't know, guys. I am so sorry.
Okay. Listen, we still have a lot of viewers, just so you know. I was just trying to entertain everybody while we're
How are you doing?
okay, so
it's okay.
huh?
You have plenty of experience entertaining, so it's all right.
All right. So okay, so we were talking about okay, so you have events, we got to get to these events. How do you go about reaching out? Are you calling? Are you sending emails? How are you getting these events booked? And how much time are you asking for? 45 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
So normally I have a few approaches. I will network when I go to events and I'll just ask and see what they have on their calendar, what they have available, if we can join something or if we can create something for them. The other thing outside of like going to networking things is I've got a great team and they will go in there for me and just call around to apartment complexes. We will ask for the leasing agent's information if they don't let us talk to them, but normally we'll ask them, who's in charge of making your events for your residents? And can we give them a call? Can we talk to them? Can we email them? We try to get past that gatekeeper and talk to them and then get on their schedules somehow. Usually apartment complexes are pretty open to it. Reason for that we found is a lot of the lease agents have to have something every month for their tenants at a few places. So they are more than happy for you to come in and do that for them and they have to do no work. So those are the easiest ones to get into.
Apartment complexes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do these apartment they have like parties or something, or gatherings, or event? Like, how do they? Or do you, or when you work with apartments, do you kind of help them create their own?
We will do both. So we've created our own, like the pool parties during the summertime are big. And I think it is an urban thing as well, because we do have a ton of apartment complexes with people who just come out to stuff, or they're at the pools, and we'll have a DJ come in. Like I said, we'll make them food, and they just come by and we talk to them. We ask them if they want to do a lead card, which we have at every single event that we do. And sometimes, depending on the event, we're giving out some goodies. Other times it's just like pins. We try to have fun things like the koozies out there, and get creative with the things that we're giving away, and make sure that whatever we're giving away is kind of tailored to where we're at. So for example, if we go to an apartment complex, we're giving out bottle openers and koozies. If we're going to a gym and we're giving out stuff, it's going to be hydration packets or protein bars.
Right.
We try to make sure it's tailored to where we're at.
Now, do you do a lead card? Like, I'll give you a protein bar for a lead card, or is like, how do you go about doing that?
Yeah, we try to do that, but usually people are like, okay, never mind, I don't want to do it. A lot of the time, it's just the conversation that you have. So the goodies at the table, right, are just to get them to come over and be like, what are you guys doing here?
Attention.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes we'll get like the pushback, of course, and we'll still give them something. We're not stingy about it, because we're still getting our name out there. We're giving them our cards. They know who we are, and we try to come back once or twice a year. So that helps as well. So usually the third time they're like, man, you guys keep coming back, and then they'll start talking to us. The interactive type of booths are good too. So for example, we partner with the YMCA at the trunk or treats and things like that. So if you have something interactive that people are interested in, we set up a photo booth. They come and get their family together and their kiddos in their cute little costumes. We take a picture of them and then we email it to them. So then we've got their email address and we ask them, hey, can we send you a quote? Can we get some of your information? So at least we have some contact exchange there for taking their picture.
Got it. Okay. Now, so tell me about your team, right? So are you the only one that does these events? Do you?
I've got a team of
4? Did you say 4? You cut it. Okay,
so
cool.
using your team, you have to. There's no way you can do this on your own. And so I use their help with getting these leads and getting the event set up. And then we usually have 1 or 2 people at least, in addition to myself, that go out to those events. I try to always be at the events. And it's usually nights and weekends, or it's the end of office hours. It's not really a 9 to 5 type of gig. So you just have to be willing to do it. And it seems, for me, it's worked really well because 1, it saves me a ton of money on buying internet leads. And 2, it doesn't exhaust my team as much as them having to call cold leads. They would much rather
Right.
on a Saturday and hang out, meet people. It is work for them, yes, but every single one of them will tell you they would rather go do that for 3 or 4 hours on a Saturday than have to call for 6 hours in the office. No.
I know. I love this. I love this. So how do you keep them? How do you structure your team? Are they all 1099s? Are they W-2? Like, how did you go about building your team? Because, in the beginning, like, you're doing these events, you're bringing them to the events. How many leads are you getting? How busy are they really from those leads? Like, how do you go about building a team for this?
I will, in the beginning, I outsourced a bit because with State Farm, if you're not familiar, they have 2 ways to get into being a State Farm agent. You can work for a State Farm agent for a couple of years, and then you open up with a book of business that you get from a retiring agent. I decided to do neither of those, and like a kamikaze person, I just jumped in head first. I didn't work for a State Farm agent. I opened up day one with 0 customers. So I had to get to work fast, and I still had a lot of connections from the Hilton and students that I had mentored and everything. So I just reached out and said, hey, who wants to pick up extra hours? Who wants to come work these events for me? And I had that as kind of a supplement to segue into being able to build my own team for this.
And now, were you spending a majority of your time finding the events and getting them booked and set up?
At the beginning, yes, I was. I was pretty much doing all of it myself. And it was good because then I could learn exactly how to do it, how much time it should take, and then be able to teach somebody to do it. That way I knew how much time it should be taking them. And so they
Yeah.
weren't spending 40 hours a week saying this takes so much time.
Yeah. I'm just right here. I know there's insurance agents watching this. So listen, if you want to connect with Natalie, like connect with her. Like if you're like, I love the way you do business. It's very different than most. And I think it's genius. And I have a feeling you're going to, I mean, what are you trying to like? Are you trying to really build your team? Do you want to do more events? Are you trying to, like where do you see this going?
I would say yes, yes, and yes. Bigger and better. What right now, recruit all the time, just like every other business agent, always interviewing. So being able to get out in the community also gives you those opportunities to hopefully meet people. You can see how they work at their job. And there have been times where we will be out at a festival and I'll see somebody working a tent or a table for another company and immediately, talk to them about, hey, when you're done with this job or if you're looking for opportunities, I want to talk to you, because you can see them
Yeah.
at events and see how they interact with people.
Yeah. I like that. So you're recruiting them because that's what they would be doing with you. So
Yeah.
So how much do you spend? Let's talk about spend. Like to set up one of these events, to do one of these events. Because like you got to pay for internet leads, you got to pay for exclusive leads, you got to pay for transfer leads, right? Like these events, how much are you typically paying for these?
These events are extremely cheap, I would say, affordable for agents. So I try to have a $500 budget or less for a lot of these, and it makes it a
For
lot.
each event?
It makes it a lot easier if you already have your setup and then you just change your setup to match where you're going. So you're not buying new things necessarily for every single event. So it does
Right.
take a little bit more upfront cost to be able to invest that money, making sure you have the table,
The
the tent,
tablecloth,
all of that stuff, all your banners,
the banner. Yeah.
and just depending on how your marketing budget works. I know State Farm is nice enough to subsidize us a lot of the time, so they provide a lot of things for us to get started as new agents, which is awesome. And then from there, you just build on it and try to take care of things. You've got to teach your team when they're setting up and they're breaking down to take care of things. Don't break them, take your
Right.
time. And then with kid events, we always have super easy things that you can literally go to the dollar store, to Walmart for handouts and all of that. So that helps out a lot. And
So basically, just so I understand, so you're getting booths at events, right? So you'll even do apartment complexes, but like for example, I have a 3-year-old daughter, and we went to this like Daniel Tiger day or neighborhood day or something like that, and there was like 100 booths, and that made me think of this would be a thing. There were probably insurance people there.
mhm.
But you're actually buying a booth and then you're bringing your stuff for these type of events.
Sometimes for those, if I need to pay for a booth, I will look and see if it's worth it. So, for example, we have a lot of conferences in Houston. And again, Bragging on State Farm, they can help get us into a few things. They have a marketing budget that they will invite us to go out for 2 hours and do that to get leads. But if I'm not using that, I'm looking for the smaller events. I'm not going to like the Texan Stadium and paying $3,000 for a booth for 2 hours. I'm looking at
All right.
small centers, small businesses, that kind of thing. And
Got it. And how did you say you were finding these? Like on Meet, like where how do you find all these events? On Facebook, on meetup.com? Like where do you
all of them. So I go to Eventbrite, I look on Facebook all the time. And then if I'm not finding anything that fits my budget or my schedule, then I start creating my own. And I would say we probably do 50-50. Already exist and we're just getting a spot in them, or we're just joining somebody else that's already doing it. The other half, we're calling them and saying, hey, we're going to come out and we can do this for you. So I'm trying to think of other ideas that we've gone and done, like even with apartment complexes. This was not my idea. This was from an excellent agent, older and wiser than me, with breakfast drops is what they called them. And pre-COVID, this was an awesome idea. Of course, 2020 and 21 killed my events, killed my acquisition. So we're recovering from that. We would essentially go out in the mornings when people were leaving their complexes, no table, nothing set up, but we would just have orange juice and breakfast burritos with a little lead card. And we would approach their car as they're leaving for work and just say, hey, do you want breakfast in exchange for your name and number for a quote later? And
dang.
it's a lot. I know most people watching right now are like, you're insane. But we did get a lot with that. It's different now after COVID, obviously. I'm not walking up to anybody's car, breathing on them, giving them free food, because it's just a different world. So you have to adapt and you have to figure out what other things you can do in the community. How do you get?
Yeah. Have you ever, so I have you ever, kind of initially, I see what you were doing with events. I had a little bit of a different concept going on in my head, which is fine. But do you ever like go and present in front of groups? Like, so with schools, so in the beginning of my career, I spoke at high schools and middle schools. And then after, I would do sessions with the parents and sessions with the counselors and the teachers, and they would bring them all together. And like, you can reach out to schools and say, hey, we want to do a presentation for all of your teachers and counselors. And they'll set those up free. And now you're speaking and presenting to 50 people at one time. Do you ever do anything like that?
I do some of those in the community. I'll do like health fairs or seminars, that kind of thing. I worked with the University of Houston where they would have students. I was an advisor there, so I knew they would have people come in every now and then. You can get in front of students if you're in financial advising of any sort. One of the best things that I've done is go in front of college students, talk to them about what credit is, how do credit cards work, like the basics 101. And you get a lot of insight from that. You also get a lot of people that are now looking at you as an advisor because they may not have anybody in their life. Point. Their parents may not know as much as you do. They may not know as much as the kids do nowadays, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
it's also a really good one to get in with universities or community colleges because
Yeah. So say that last part. Did you cut off or did you freeze?
No, well, hopefully I didn't.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're here. I'm like so paranoid now. No, but so I definitely spent a lot of time speaking at universities too. And so if you're watching this right now and you want to get in front of universities, I'll let Natalie you share. But from my experience, it's the student activities directors. Those are the ones that you can get in front of. But I'm sure every department, the career center, all these departments. Sorry, go ahead.
And you can get in front of Greek Life too. Get a bunch of kids in front of you that they think they're going places and they know they're going good places, and they've got the financial savvy there as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so good. So when you speak, how did you create your presentation? How did you, because just to get an event, like, I mean, to me, it's very simple to get in front of groups of people. And you could do it in your local area. It's very simple. I like the booths. I also like getting in front of people because you can speak to many at one time. Um, how do you go about doing that? How do you structure your presentation that gets people to say, I've got to talk to Natalie after?
My approach is really interactive because when I was in school and when I go to networking events, the worst thing is having to go to something and sit through somebody just talking and talking and talking. And, somebody can love their voice. I don't recommend it. So make it interactive. What I usually do is have part of it as an info session and then do more question and answer. I think a lot of the time I've gone to seminars, it's like 90% of your time is them talking at you, and then they have question and answer for 10 minutes at the end. And so I've kind of flipped the script on that a bit, and I will get up in front of them, introduce myself, set the credibility. How do I know what I know and what have I been doing, so that they think I'm somebody that they should be listening to. And then from there, I go into a brief section, that 10% of explaining what I'm talking to them about, whether it be credit cards or retirement or Medicare, whatever the case is. And then I just have question and answers of, okay, what do you want to know? And keep it interactive where I'm not talking more than like 5 minutes, 10 minutes in a row ever.
Yeah. And then how do you end it? How do you get them to say, I've got to talk to Natalie? Do you have an offer at the end or some sort of call to action? How do you get them to want to speak with you or your team?
It's usually the lead cards or setting up appointments. What I like doing is saying at the end, as soon as we wrap up, if you guys want to come up to me and ask any questions, I can do that for you. But if you have more than one question or there's more than one person in line wanting to get answers, I've got a sheet in the back of the room. Sign up to have a call with me. And I'll do in person, I'll do calls, I'll do videos, and that way we get their information. If at all possible, I try to already have names of people that are attending. Depending on what seminar you're doing, they will allow that sometimes.
Right.
So I will straight up ask them, can I reach out to you guys within the next week to follow up with you? And then I will Monday morning hit those emails or those phone numbers and just call and say, hey, thanks so much for coming. Did you have any other questions that I can answer for you? I'm not calling them to try to sell them a Medicare plan. I'm just calling to say, hey, thanks for coming. What can I help you with? And that will usually open up opportunities.
I love that. Okay, awesome. Like a kind of like a here, I just gave you a bunch of information and I can give you a free consult that'll help you. And then if you decide you're interested in working with me, I can share with you how to do that at the end if you want, kind of thing.
If you try to be
love that.
And not a salesperson, it'll take you further.
Good advice. I like that. Okay, good. This is so good. Okay, so what's your, like, obviously COVID was a thing for you. COVID was a real thing for your type of business model. So Natalie, what's your Andres? What's up, Andres? He said so many people are not properly insured. Yes. Andres, you got to reach out to Natalie. Just Google her name. Look at her reviews. Okay, so Natalie, real quick. What's your next play? What's your move from here? How do you what do you want to do to get to the next level? What are you focusing on?
It's all growth and expansion. I, for the last 9 years, have been really good at protecting my customers from the worst case scenarios and covering their assets for them. And now I am moving into the world of helping them grow their assets and retain them. So that financial section of it, like you mentioned at the very beginning, getting into mortgages and helping people buy their first house or refinance a house so that they can have that money to put elsewhere, and then starting their investments, helping
So yeah, sorry, go ahead.
just helping them get to retirement.
Right. So when you go to present or share what you do, because you do so many different things, how do you choose what you're like? If you're going to speak to a bunch of um, you know, let's say executives, or you're going to speak with a bunch of administrators for school district, like what, because you do so many different things now, how do you choose what you're going to talk about?
A lot of
Or
the time you have to choose that because of compliance. So just for
okay.
example, on the financial sector and alone, you really can't talk about every setting. You need to choose one thing and they can't cross over. So a lot of the time I try to circulate those and just make sure I'm doing a seminar or an event covering each one so that we can bring those customers in through that, and then talk to them once they're in the office about everything else that we offer.
Yeah. Now, are you only local, or are you working, are you, okay, let me ask you this way. Are you looking, I know you said you're looking to expand your team. What do you want to do this year? Are you trying to bring on more agents because you have this event system to then begin doing events that maybe you don't have to go to anymore? Like what's your vision over the next few years?
So this year specifically, my main goal is to grow our customer base, and my team will have to grow with that just to keep up with it. So those are going to grow together, but being able to sit down with more customers and talk to them about their financial goals and where they're going and how I can help to get them there faster.
I love that. Natalie, I have a call in 5 minutes, so I've got to run.
All right.
And you've been on, like, seriously, I have to have you on again because we didn't even at all talk about how you built your team. And that's like the second tier of this.
Yeah.
So I really hope that I can have you on like in the next few weeks so we could finish this conversation, because this is like so good. It's different than what anybody's hearing or doing. And I think that's why you've been so successful outside of all of these traits you can tell by from this conversation, the way you carry yourself, the way you communicate, the way you talk about how you're helping people. Like it's all very apparent. And so I hope I can have you on so we could talk about how you built your team. Because I think that's important.
Ones that make me look good. It's really not me.
But you're the leader, right? Like you have to have good leadership too. So real quick, because I've got to run. I know you got to run too, and I respect your time. How can someone find you? They're watching this video and they're like, I want to work with Natalie, or I want to connect with Natalie about insurance. What's the best way to find you?
Easiest way is to go to Instagram because everybody has it, and go to Natalie Berry State Farm. I that pressure because I need to up my Instagram.
You need to up your Instagram. Is that what you said?
Yeah, the game. It's weak right now. I need to get social media up to par.
I know. I tried connecting with you on LinkedIn because I tagged you in the event there, because we have quite a few people on LinkedIn, and
Yeah, I don't think
it
I've
took me a
logged.
while to find you.
I don't think.
Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can find you. What did you say is the at? Because there's a couple Natalie Berries here.
If you put Natalie Berry State Farm.
Oh, State Farm. Okay, let me see. Because I want to put it on here for everyone to find you. Oh, I think I found it. Oh,
Get it?
say that again.
My website, agentberry.com. Berry with an A.
Say that one more time.
My State Farm website is agentberry.com.
Okay.
And it's berry,
Agent.
not like the food.
Like that. So Oh, I just put it there, but it's not that big. So let's see. Let's put it like that. Boom. So at Natalie Berry State Farm or
Yep.
agentberry.com. Yeah,
Yep.
I just found your LinkedIn. Okay, cool. Awesome. Listen, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. Seriously, this was really valuable. And I know a lot of people can get new ideas for their business. And so, and also people listening that want insurance or mortgage or financial assistant. Literally, for anybody watching, just Google Natalie Berry and look at her reviews. I'll leave it at that.
Much.
Natalie, thank you so much for being on the show. And I got to have you on again. Cool.
We'll be in touch. Thanks.
All right. Adios.